I have accepted the apologies of MSNBC. We have defended, people that we disagree with and said, look, they didn't mean it that way. No acceptance of any apology. And this is a very big deal because this shows, again, the pattern at MSNBC. And honestly, Melissa Harris Perry, your apology means a lot less because of this. MSNBC decided to tweet last night, maybe the right wing will hate it, but everyone else will go, aw. The adorable new Cheerios ad with biracial family. That was their tweet, that the right wing will hate the Cheerios ad with a biracial family in it. Now, MSNBC is getting hammered by tweets of conservatives that have a biracial family. But isn't this exactly what Melissa Harris Perry did? And she had to apologize because she's holding up biracial families and she was mocking it from the conservatives. Isn't this exactly the same story? I'm sorry, MSNBC, but you are racist and we know who you are now. And Melissa Harris Perry already apologized for this once. And I want to give you some perspective. ABC, Disney, ESPN, the Mouse went and fired a guy who said there was a chink in his armor. They fired him. Is MSNBC going to fire the person or even identify the person that released this tweet? They issued an apology and said, we apologize for this tweet and it doesn't reflect us, the network, or our values. Yes, really? It does.
It doesn't, because it seems to reflect many other incidents where the exact same thing happened. So I would say it does kind of reflect you. I mean, this is obviously the culture at this point of what they're doing. There's a plan here. They seem to be executing it. At this
how
point.
Is it? I mean, the guy has to be completely surprised, or the woman, whoever did this. They have to be completely surprised. They have to be, guys, what are you talking about? This is us.
And I gotta say, to defend the guy a little bit, or the girl, as you point out, Glenn, isn't he right? If you're at MSNBC and you tweet, maybe the right wing will hate it, but everyone else will love the Cheerios ad with the biracial family, aren't you right in the pocket of what the network is saying?
Yes.
I mean, literally every day, their entire lineup is just calling conservatives racists. How could they possibly not think that was appropriate? I mean, Al Sharpton has a show on your network. That's 1,000,000 times worse than this tweet. They haven't apologized for that yet.
No, I mean, I really feel bad for the person who wrote it and now has been chastised, but I doubt that they've been chastised. I doubt I doubt they actually got in trouble. I would imagine that, somebody, because it's completely inconsistent. So I doubt they got into trouble. I'm sure somebody's like, can we not be so obvious?
Yeah. Because it's like think of what Chris Matthews does every day. The only prism he sees anything through is race. Every issue, a tax increase, you're filling potholes, anything that comes up, he says it's because conservatives are racist. It's the entire message of the whole network. And we're supposed to believe this was a mistake or it's not in their... I mean, this is basically their mission statement.
And look at this. There was only one time when Chris Matthews didn't focus on race, and that was only for an hour, when he forgot that the president was black.
That's right.
Remember that?
That was the State of the Union, too.
Yeah, I think it was last year or the year before.
I forgot he was black tonight for an hour.
So that was the one time where Chris Matthews didn't see something through the racial lens.
Could you play that again?
I forgot he was black tonight for an hour.
That is the greatest piece of audio of all time.
Oh, man.
In what context was that? There's no context.
It was so good. The speech was so good, he forgot he was black for an hour.
Yeah. And now he's remembered,
and now
course.
That's right, he's black. So it couldn't have been that good. But for an hour, man, I thought it was really good because I forgot he was black.
He thought it was so good, he thought he was white. That's how...
How else do you take that?
I forgot he was black tonight for an hour.
I forget he's black every day. I don't care about that. Well, I can't forget he's a Marxist.
Unless hang on just a second. Unless he's with a white woman eating Cheerios.
Well,
right. Well,
okay,
then,
then you care, right, Pat?
Yeah,
then you hate it, right?
Yeah.
I tried to. I honestly, come on, give me the context. You got it. What was the context?
He was saying that the speech was so good and that it soared above. It soared above any, I guess, racial lines. And
I'll try to find the whole, like the minute before and the minute after. But it seriously was just that. The speech was so good, he forgot he was black.
And that's it sounds ridiculous, but when you put it in context with Chris Matthews and the entire MSNBC staff, with very few exceptions, this is how they see every single story that you read. They just see it in how can we use this story to call conservatives racist. That's the baseline of everything that they do. This person who tweeted this is executing their mission statement.
Can I tell you something? This is... I mean, you really want to go down the rabbit hole here. This is the Margaret Sanger dichotomy, if you will. This is the Margaret Sanger problem. We're doing this to help out the black community, but we're killing all the black children. That's what Margaret Sanger, when they developed Planned Parenthood, it was to kill all the black children. It was to kill the inferior race. And so they were going to kill all the black children, and they were going to use the preachers, Al Sharpton, they were going to use the preachers to get them on board to help them do it. And the documents show, the letters are just crazy that they're not taught in school. But the beginning letters of Planned Parenthood talk about how we're going to get the leadership of the black community, and we're going to get the preachers because they'll help us do it. And we get the preachers to do it as long as we don't tell them. They'll help us create this culture, and we'll kill all the black children and all of the inferiors. And so that was the plan. So here was a group of people that hid behind masks of trying to help. A bunch of white people. Oh, I know. We are so with you. We are so with you, Reverend. We're so with you. Just come on over here. But that's really kind of the mentality, because I really think these guys, people like Chris Matthews, he really is living in some progressive 1965 style world, where either he thinks we're still, living and people are being hosed down in the streets, and he's never been able to. He's not progressed. Let's put it this way: he's not progressed past his own stereotype of white and black relationships of 1968, because people, I'm 50, but I don't think I'm all that different. Now, I grew up in the Pacific Northwest, and I don't remember meeting a racist. I really don't remember. I'm sorry. I do. I remember, and I was 16, and my grandfather got up from the table and said, "I think we're done here," and walked away. It was a dinner table, and we were over at somebody's house, and they said, you don't know because you live in Seattle. You don't know what the blacks are doing to towns back east. And my grandmother cleared her throat like, this is not gonna end well. And the guy looked at my grandmother and said, you don't know. And my grandfather, as he usually did when he was really upset, when he wanted to stop conversation, he would lift his hand about 3 inches off the table, because he was a very strong man. And he would lift it up about 3 inches off the table and make a fist, and he'd slam it down on the table, and all the glasses would jingle and everything else. And he did that and stopped. Everybody stopped. And he got up and he said, "I think we're done here. This has been a nice evening. Thank you." And we all got up from the table and we all left. I remember meeting my first racist. So I don't know about everybody else, but I don't know people like that. I don't like people like that. But I think Chris Matthews thinks that that's the way all people are. And indeed, he himself sees the world in such black and white. If that is in context, Pat, that shows that he is fighting that demon all the time of, but I'm above that. I'm not like that. I'm not like that at all. I'm above that. Because I forgot he was black for an hour.
Well, I found that segment, if we want to play the full context of it. Here's where he says it.
And it's interesting. He is post-racial, by all appearances. I forgot he was black tonight for an hour. He's gone a long way to become a leader of this country and passed so much history in just a year or two. I mean, it's something we don't even think about. I was watching, I said, wait a minute, he's an African-American guy in front of a bunch of other white people, and there he is, President of the United States, and we've completely forgotten that tonight. Completely forgotten it.
What? 2 years or 3 years into his presidency? We forgot that when we elected him.
Babbling. That is just, he found himself not concerned about the fact that he's black for an hour.
Yeah. And by the way, he also lied because he said he was watching him. And he remembered that he was black. And, oh, my God, there's an African-American guy up there as president. So, actually, he didn't last the full hour. Only part of the hour. But there is speculation out there.
Weird.
There is speculation out there that something happened in Chris Matthews' past to make him feel the need to act this way all the time.
Yeah, because he does.
Because he does. And he sees everything this way, and he feels like he's trying to right some long-term wrong.
I know Stu well enough to know that he doesn't get on the air and say, there is some speculation that something, but I have no idea what it might be. I mean, I have what? I have no. I don't have anything. I've heard my good friend Philip talk about it on the street. We were at Dunkin' Donuts, and Philip said to me, "I suppose what exactly is the speculation?"
Well, the speculation is he's trying to right a wrong in his life. There's something in his life he's trying to right, and I can tell you the source of this information. I don't mind telling you. I got a call in my office, and now it's out there. He has to address it now, right?
Yeah, he has to.
Oh, it's out there.
It's out there.
It's out there.
And it obviously is.
I mean, I think Harry Reid said it best when
he did.
When he found out
he said it's out there.
It's out there. Mitt Romney hasn't
found out he hadn't paid his taxes. Got a phone call in his office. So
from a very good man, and it's out there.
It's out there now.
I'm sorry it had to come out that way.
I am too.
But it's out there. Well, and what can you do?
Boy, he better answer for it now. Let me tell you something. MSNBC, no excuse for it. If that is indeed who you aren't, then you should fire that individual and make sure that everybody knows that you fired him, just like ABC did with the chink in the armor. Think of this. Chink in the armor is a phrase that everybody uses. That was unintentional, and it was a wrong firing. But they so overreacted because of the mouse. But MSNBC Universal, they're so unafraid of their calling people racism. They're so unafraid that they didn't make an error or a misspeak or, Melissa Harris Perry saying, it was a comedy segment. No. They meant this one. They meant this. And they think that they're going to just get away. And they probably will. That they'll just get away with, we retracted that. We're sorry. No, it's who you are.